I thought I left my phone, but I knew I didn't. All right, let me come here. So let me play a song while y'all come up in here while I do all these different setups I got. Let me play a song. Let's see, what song am I gonna play? I'm gonna play this one. Where you at? Oh, hold up, let me check this out. There we go. No.
Let's give the people something they can hear as they veer to the left. But it's best that they hang with the right. Every day, last night, two flight in the bucket. Fuck it, we bustin' down those. Never trust hoes with the bucket down hoes. We cutting down bros, they fussin'.
Eat crow, cause fuck them, you ain't know. They part of the clientele. They buy and sell.
Thinking if we shop on the Sabbath, they buy and well. When really you might as well. It's a cold day in hell times 2. You're the seed of your father, nigga, not a part you. I'm a few scenes in the animated cartoons. One body heart, pulled through the melanin. Refusal of the medicine is slaughtered to my brethren. Perpetual, middle fingers pointed at your reverend. Until the day I died, it's my regiment. Worried about the Nephilim. I'm focused on my daughters in Michigan flip. Barely can pump with the rent, but still offer they 10%. Though the situation's grim, JoJo with the posing. The Lord is a man of war, is hesitation. Goshen, this hell is the lowest. You're better off with the roaches, they fucking you with a Trojan. You call it a bed of roses, so sacrilegious and bogus, they voted. You thought you was the shit when
really use the toilet.
Sanity repeated, they
what a nigga seeking.
We can see it once again to this European demon. Go to war in the pandemic, freedom is San Quentin.
Come on war, Macaca, my soldiers, to the last minute.
But these thuggies and huggies crooked, a split in the dungeon. Commanding General Johanna razors, Rufus and Ruddy. Hit the dirt, bottom of fringes in my boots is getting muddy.
But the money ain't a thing unless my brother's good. That's brotherhood, it's understood.
Laying out the underwood, nothing but aggression till our oppressor is underfoot. This is my profession, sharpen my weapon by studying the book. You ain't gotta go through academy to bite the bullet.
Thanks and disciple music
like a Nazarite would do it. You can hide from war, but those who seek to save their life will lose it. Wonder why these white folks is ruling?
Cause they put them Edomites in charge.
Cap locked to reestablish his contract with God.
Hey, I ain't got opinions, I just take orders.
Too easy to
Be a coward, I can't change garments. Like Adam and Eve.
I'm just trying to sow what I reap. If the blind lead the blind, then that hole will be deep. It's the work of the Lord. God rolling my sleeves. Went from digging up evil nigga
and rolling up
weed. I know what I see. My people destroyed y'all. Who gave you that white?
Hey man, welcome to another edition of the Chronicles. I'm just gonna put this poll up. Give me 1 second. Let me put this poll up. Have you thumbed up the video? Let's go ahead and add that. And now we can begin the show. Somebody said cap the bully. Yes. You know, we used to have a phrase that said we bully the bullies. And so definitely I like to bully bullies. I'm gonna be putting up some there's an interview I did. I'm gonna re-upload. It's from Kingdom Cam's channel. Kingdom Cam is Officer Malakwath down in Houston, Texas. I did an interview with him, I think it was last year. You know, it's such an amazing interview. I'm gonna re-upload it on my channel after this live stream is over, so you can check that out. I spoke to Sarnetta earlier, and he told me he was gonna put up that Africans Gone Wild interview. I'm gonna put that interview up. That's the interview I talk to y'all about all the time. Also, the back and forth Sarnetta and I had over the whole evil, I'm gonna put that up. So it's like 3 videos after this live stream that I'm gonna put up. And for everybody that has a YouTube channel, if I could, hey, Malak is the reason. Malak Zaquan is the reason for the title. I'm at store. I'm gonna have to run this back. I may be yeah. Malak is the reason for the title, for the first part of the title. So I always tell people, if you want me to discuss a certain topic, just hit me up in the back chat, text me. You know, I'm accessible in so many different options, meaning people call me all the time, text me all the time, message me. So feel free, if there's ever a subject you want me to touch on. Now, I don't know about that story that you're talking about, to Tazaryach Pushkin. I don't know about that story. It says, have you touched on a brother who unalived his wife when he was released from prison after I don't know that story. I haven't seen that story. But again, even if you got a story, if people have stories they want me to touch on, just send them to me. Like I have Officer Makulat out of Atlanta, always sending me stories. Brother Picard, always sending me TikTok videos. You can send it to, I ain't put my number in the chat. My phone number, you can send it to me on Instagram, Facebook, my phone number. You can text it to me however however you feel that you need to send it to me. You can send it to me. I didn't put my number in the chat. Let me put my number in the chat. And so I was doing a live stream the other day, and I was touching on different relationship points. And what the hell? Can I pin it? Let me switch something. And I was touching on different relationship points. So a brother messaged me, and one of the questions that he had was about, oh, that's the problem. I know what the problem is. Let me turn that off. So one of the things the brother had asked was about posting your spouse, because that seems to be that's like the new demon, so to speak, right? And what I mean by it's a new old demon, like I remember when Facebook first came out and you could poke people. Y'all remember when Facebook first came out and you could poke people? Oh, the internet was going crazy over pokes. Niggas getting poked left and right. Nigga poking a nigga. Pause. Like, imagine that. Imagine getting poked and it's a dude. Before I get into the subject, I'm glad the brother said that Superior Cologne smells good. If you haven't noticed, if you look at the title, 3-day 50% off sale. All right? 3-day 50% off sale. Cap, I need help to stop smoking. Before you call me a weed head, it's not weed, it's cigars. Either way, I need help. You can always call or get counsel. Like here's how I counsel you online. If you smoke cigars, just tell me how many cigars you smoke a day. I'll tell you how easy it is. The same way you got hooked is the same way you got to get unhooked. Right? So just type in the chat how many cigars you smoke a day. At least 5. Cut that 5 down to 2. Now, what that does is there's some sins that you have. Shalom, Lord Christ, the big priest, Mawakwa. There's some sins that, because you've been doing them so long, the routine of them make them hard to quit. So you can't quit some things cold turkey. There's some things that you can quit cold turkey. So if you're smoking at least 5 cigars a day, bust that down to 2. Bust it down to just 2 cigars a day. Because here's what you're doing. Before you got to being able to smoke 5 cigars a day, and this is for anything. It could be an alcohol problem. It could be a weed problem, cocaine problem, whatever it is. The reason why you're at the level that you're at is because you built up a tolerance to be at the level that you're at. Doesn't matter what it is. The first time you smoked weed, the more weed you smoke, the more you can smoke, because you build up a tolerance. The first time you sniff cocaine, now I don't have no cocaine and crack and pills. I only have a weed history as far as addiction, because I used to be addicted to weed. I was so addicted to weed that I used to smoke cigarettes too. I ain't smoked a cigarette since my daughter was born in 2001. And when my daughter was born, I quit smoking cigarettes for her because I didn't want to get cancer and I didn't want to die. That's why I quit smoking when she was born. November 27th, when she was born, that's when I quit smoking. But what happened with when I quit smoking cigarettes, weed became that much more. It's damn near like I smoked weed like it was cigarettes. So the tolerance was crazy. I was like, wow. It didn't matter. Like I could drive my car and roll a blunt. That's how it was. It was so. I drove it with me. The car was like y'all be thinking weed is not an addiction. Like weed is not like dope. But if you take weed with you everywhere, you are an absolute fiend for that weed. The only thing I'll say is if I was ever around my mother, I didn't have to smoke. When I went on vacations, I didn't have to smoke. If I had to travel with a slave or something like that, I never had like those, I never had jitters like that. But I did take that weed with me everywhere. That weed went with me in the morning to work. It was I used to have a jar. Not a jar. I used to have like this plastic bottle that you couldn't see through. And that weed would be I'll give y'all a funny story. I'll give y'all a funny story on weed and my addiction. So, I used to install phone systems. I used to install networking. And I'm installing this phone system for the borough of, I'm going to just say Phillipsburg, but the borough was like right on Route 46, right off of Route 46. Might be borough of Lincoln Township or something like that. And so I'm doing the phone system for the whole township in that region, which includes the police department. So I go ahead, I install the phone system, set up their 911 system, do all of that shit working, and I leave. Man, I leave, go home, get my blunt, smoke that blunt. After I smoke the blunt, the police station called me, and they like, yo, the phone lines ain't working. Now I'm like, now I got to go to the police station after I just got finished smoking. So, I clean myself up so I don't smell like it. But in my mind, I'm in that, like, so I go to the, so I go and I'm around these cops and everybody, and they telling me what the problem is, and I'm working out the problem. I'm fixing it. Caller, hold on one second. So I'm working out the problem. I'm fixing the problem, but you got to turn me down and pause me in the background, brother, because I can hear myself. You got to mute your phone, please. Thank you. Or at least pause it because you can hear what I'm saying right through the phone. Like paranoid. There you go. It's me again. I'm paranoid like a motherfucker. Like if they know I'm high, they gonna lock me up. Like that was like the craziest shit ever. I was paranoid than a mug. Now, and the only reason I was able to quit was because I gave my life to Christ in truth. Like I nobody ever gives their life to Christ or the Most High as a Christian, because you always have the luxury of breaking the commandments. I knew when I gave my life to the Most High and Christ in the truth that I couldn't break those commandments. So to that brother that's smoking 5 cigars a day, just chop it down to 2. Because like anything, because you built up that tolerance, that's why you feel like you need 5. So if you want the Lord to be with you, to stop smoking cigarettes, you have to actually show the Lord, cigars. You have to actually show the Lord that you want to stop. And then you get the strength. So go from 5 to 2. And then when I do my car chronicles almost every day, you can come back on the car chronicles and say, Cap, I'm down to 2. Because once you get down to 2, that means you're disciplining your body and conditioning your body to have a less tolerance for it. And as you get that less tolerance, I'm going to be able to say you're ready to stop smoking cigars at all, and you'll be able to do it. So let's try 2 cigars a day, and then let me know how that progress goes. All right? Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Dad?
What's going on, brother? You got a question or comment?
Yeah, this about what you were saying just now with the weed situation,
Mm-hmm.
that's like almost the same blueprint you had kind of told me, like earlier in the year.
Right. Right.
Like, 'cause you can't just automatically cut it off because it's something like you said, your body done adapt to, and it's like
Right.
you used to doing it almost as brushing your teeth almost.
Right. That's correct. It's just like that. And so now, and that's not to say that there's some people, because like when I told Christ I wasn't going to smoke weed again, I stopped. But that's why I said there's some sins that you can just stop cold turkey. There's some sins that is going to go over time. But the goal is for you to get out there and actually work on not doing it. And don't use the excuse, whatever excuse we make up in our head. I'm stressed, I'm this, I'm that. I'll give another example. So the reason why November 29th sticks out, that's the day my father died. But the reason why that sticks out is because I realized how addicted I was, or how dependent I was. So I actually had quit before the 29th. And so as I quit before the 29th, I might have quit like, let's say like the 23rd or the 22nd, right? And like
Okay.
2 or 3 days later, my wife got in an accident. They hit her from the front and the back in the car. She called me like, oh, I'm in this accident. She was in the car with her sister. Now, she ended up being fine. My car was fucked up. I didn't have no insurance on the car at the time. So now I'm stressed now, but because it wasn't her fault, I knew I would get the car fixed, but I had to go through somebody else's insurance, not knowing how it was going to go. I immediately went to the barbershop that I get the weed from, buy the weed, roll a blunt, and as I'm smoking it, I realized how dependent I was on weed when I shouldn't be dependent on weed. And so that's when November 29th became the anniversary. I didn't smoke on November 29th, but that's when I said I'm going to stop. So I didn't finish that whole blunt because as I'm smoking, I'm like, nigga, why is you buying this weed over this shit here? Like, you ain't a man. I felt like I wasn't a man, to be honest, because I got a plant, and you got to think about it. If a plant can run your life, how can you be a man? If a narcotic can run your life, how can you be a man? Shit, if a woman can run your life, how can you be a man? And that was the turning point for me. The turning point for me was I didn't want a narcotic. I didn't want a drug or anything to run my life like that. And so that it damn near took that accident, me running to that weed, me realizing I'm dependent on the plant, to just be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, nigga? And I'll tell you a heavier part. I'll go even a little deeper. I used to always say I didn't want to use heroin or coke. The reason why I've never tried anything higher than weed is because I used to say if I sniffed cocaine or heroin one time, I would be hooked because my father was hooked on that shit. My father was hooked on that shit so bad. Like, he would be off and on, that at the end, he got hooked on crack. That was my father. And when I'm saying got hooked on crack, he got hooked on crack like he was in his fucking late 40s, 50s. And I'm like, nigga, because he had cleaned himself up. He was clean from like 99, maybe like 98 to like 2005. He was clean. And then lost a job, got with some bitch, and the bitch had him hooked on that. So I knew as a kid, if I sniffed cocaine one time, I'm going to be a junkie. If I did heroin, if I did anything. The fucked up part, though, because we think weed is such a recreational drug, weed was my heroin. Weed was my crack. I realized that the way that my father was addicted to the heroin is the way that I was addicted to that weed. And so we think, because we look at weed as like this recreational drug, we give it some type of pass as if it's not the same problem as every other narcotic that exists. And we normalize it to a point to where I'm not even realizing until I smoked that weed that day and realized I was dependent on a plant. I didn't realize that became my addiction that I thought I was going to avoid from my father. Real shit. And so those are the things that I go through. And the reason why I tell these stories, especially on these live streams, is that y'all can know that your life ain't no different than every other Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian's life. Everybody has this life that I'm telling y'all. It's not a special life. It's not a woe is me life. That's why in Corinthians, I think it's 1 Corinthians, the 10th chapter, it say, let no man say when he is tempted. Hold on, let me get it for this first. I think it's 1 Corinthians 10, maybe 10 and 13, I think. Yeah. 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, it says, there have no temptation taken you, but such as common to man. All of these temptations that you going through, you be thinking, why me? Not realizing that if you live on the block, everybody on the block saying the same shit you saying. Why me? Everybody's saying the exact same thing. They're not saying nothing different. Hold on one second. Hold on one second, Si. Hey, Si, I'm doing a live stream. Would you call into my live?
Nah, I was calling so you could come on, brother. When you finish.
Okay, I'll come on when I'm finished.
All right.
All right.
All right, I'm going to set it up. Get it ready.
All right. Man, I hope I can... Oh, shit, I hung up on the other brother. Hold on, let me get the brother back. So when it says there's no temptation that's common to man, but God is faithful, who would not suffer you to be tempted above which ye are able. So even when you going through some shit and you be like, oh, damn, yo, how I'm going to get out of this shit? How I'm going to do this? Obviously, the Lord knows you can get out of it because he's the one put you in it. Or you put yourself in it. You ever wonder when that bill, when you got that shut off notice? I remember I went to this in Jersey City. I was going to the public service. The electric got cut off where I was staying at. This was like 98 or 99 or something like that. So I got to go up to pay the bill. So I'm going up there to pay the bill. They had a sign at the window. Your emergency is not our problem. And, and I'm going to tell you, and now, because Jersey City, that PSC&G was in the hood. So the reason, yeah, it's in the hood and the reason why it's saying your emergency is not our problem or we didn't cause it, because you coming in there like, I need my shit on. You don't want to hear the questions we gonna ask. You're gonna be impatient with the worker, and the message is for, don't get mad at the worker. I'm here to help you. I didn't cause the problem. And sometimes when we go through these temptations and we go through these struggles, you get to blaming God, but you never say, I put myself in this position. And those are things you got to think about too, because the temptation can't come unless you got something in you that's drawing that temptation. So I know I was a little long-winded. I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to say, brother.
No, you cool. Just the question with the hair oil. Is it safe to use in like infants and little like kids' hairs?
You said it one more time?
The hair oil with the hair crack. Can you use that in like kids and
you can use it in any you can use that in kids' hair. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yep, because my daughter, my grandbaby, my daughter uses it on her.
Oh, all right. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, and I need two top flavors, 2 top flavors, one male, one female.
Listen, I'm glad you said that. So for the fellas, I got one. I got one for fellas right now, but I'm not sold on a name. So I was actually gonna have people give me a name suggestion for the fellas, right? Mm-hmm. The name that I had was Beast Mode, but I've used that name before, and damn, this shit is good. So I don't want to use that. So I'm looking for name suggestions for the male one. But until I get that one, Superior or Level Up, I would suggest. Sheena said Mankind. Sheena is the winner. So we're going to call it Mankind. All right. So I'm going to add it when we get, I'm going to add it. I'm going to add it like right now. So I'm going to add it I like Mankind. I like that. I like that name. So Sheena 1. We're going to call it Mankind. And then for the sisters, I just made 2 new ones for sisters. These are already available. Damn, that flamboyant. Is flamboyant gay though? If we say this nigga's flamboyant, let me look up flamboyant. I do like flamboyant too, but Mankind.
I think so because that's what they call black homosexuals because they be extra.
Oh yeah, so we're not using flamboyant. Mankind it is. So now for the sisters, I got 2 new ones. I got this one called Fine Shit. That's for sisters.
Okay.
It's called Fine. It's called Fine Shit. The shit is spelled SHYT. Like I had to Google it because I wasn't sure if I was gonna spell it and spell shit on the label. So being that it's spelled SHYT, I'm gonna spell that on the label. So the first one for the sisters is Fine Shit. The second one for the sisters is called Chocolate Girl. Chocolate Girl was inspired. Well, first the oil smells like it's a chocolate oud oil. So it smells like chocolate, and if you know anything that about ouds, it has an oud smell to it too. So when I smelled this oil, what made me buy this oil, it was actually inspired by a live stream I was having like 3 days ago. It was me, Tommy, Il Akan, and a couple of other brothers, and it was like a dark skin, light skin thing, and we was talking about how the dark skin, go through this or go through that. So I call it.
With Angry Man.
Yeah, with Angry Man. Yeah. Me and Angry Man gonna do a show, I think, this Wednesday. So Chocolate Girl's inspired by that live stream. So you got Chocolate Girl and you got Fine Shit, right? And then for the fellas, I'm putting on there, it's gonna be called Mankind, Superior, or Level Up. Marvel Quad say you gotta be finer than a mother to wear. But that's what I would suggest if you're asking me.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. I ain't gonna keep you up too long. Is the thing with Sai, is it gonna be live or anything, or is it something?
Yeah, it's gonna be live. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it or not. So don't hold me to that because I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually get on there now.
All right, no problem.
All right, no sweat. So I'm adding Mankind. Shout out to Sheena. Sheena gave me the name Mankind. We going with Mankind. So that's available right now, right up?
Gotcha.
So on the subject, I have a 50% off sale, 3-day sale. I have a 3-day 50% off sale. So that's today, Monday. Well, actually, it's Saturday night. So I got to make sure I say Saturday night because my Shalawamas be on me about the Sabbath. I'm just serious. Oh, did you do your AIT? Yeah, I did my AIT at Fort Lee, Virginia. Yes, I did. I did my why are they doing this? I did my basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky. I did my AIT at Fort Lee, Virginia. That's where I did that. All right, so let me add Mankind. Okay, so Mankind is added. So the new scents that I have, let me just go back. I gotta make sure I add it. So I added it to the oil. I gotta make sure I add it to the body butter. Let me just make sure I added it to the body butter. Y'all just bear with me 1 second. I'm just making sure I added it everywhere it needed to be. Okay, let me add it here. Mankind. Add, boom. All right. There we go. So these are the 3 new scents that I got. I got a 50% off sale. Somebody wanted to know what it smelled like. I'll give y'all some of the notes of Mankind. All right. Let me give y'all some of the notes. Hold on. Let me open it up a little bit. surprised. Y'all ain't gonna know when I give y'all these notes. Y'all ain't gonna know. I'm trying to. So amberwood, cardamom. I'll give y'all 2 notes. I don't like to give up the notes because niggas like to bite your shit. What year were you in Fort Lee? I was there in 94. I was there in 95. So my AIT was, I think, from... So I was in Fort Knox. I think I went in the end of August. I think I graduated in October. My AIT was like November, December, and January, 95, I believe. Was it 94? No, it wasn't 94. Yeah, it was 95. All right. So make sure you take advantage. 50% off. None of my moderators are in here, so let me go ahead and put my own link in there. I don't see no mods in here. So let me go ahead and put my own link in here. Let me see where you at. Do I got my own link? I ain't even got my own damn link. I'm talking about y'all. Let me do. I ain't got my own 50%. Oh, damn, I ain't got my own. Oh, there go Rhoda. Shout out to Rhoda. Rhoda put the link up in there. Good looking. I've been here, boy. The moderator's gonna let you know, ain't they? I've been here. So now back to the subject of relationships. Should you post your spouse? I think a lot of times, I'm gonna give y'all an example. Today, there was an NFL football player, right? Today. What's the NFL football player's name that just cut his hair? Hold on one second. There's an NFL football player that just cut his hair, right? Who knows the name of him? I want to see if I could. I thought I saw it earlier. He married that young girl. He got drafted high. I'm mad I can't remember his name. Travis Hunter. Thank you. Travis Hunter, right? Just cut his hair. He had dreads. He cut his hair. He got a fade. Now, for me being an Israelite, I'm glad he cut his hair. Do you know they now trying to so they was making fun of him when he had the dreads in his hair. And then now they making fun of him because he cut his hair. He didn't put a picture up. He just walked into the NFL tunnel. That's the internet. The internet is not the place of love. The internet is the place of controversy, busybodies, nosiness. So when it comes to posting your spouse, that's really like, and again, this is sponsored by a brother that wanted me to discuss this for him and his rib. When it comes to posting your spouse, you got to think about, who is it necessary for? Is it necessary for you to see that your spouse is posting you? Or is it necessary for you to let other people know that you don't know that this is your man, this is your woman? You got to really think about that. Do you need that type of validation? That's what you gotta open. I think this says open your eyes. Makes a great point. Keep your life private. If you think about even if you go from a celebrity position, most celebrities that have long-lasting relationships, what do they tell you? They do not put their business on social media because social media is not the place for it. I don't need no validation. I don't need no validation for anything from a woman online. No woman of mine posts me. Rhoda even say you asking trouble doing that. I'm going to tell you what women, because this is more so a woman thing than a man thing. I don't really know of men that say, hey, you better post me. And I hope it ain't, I hope. Here's up now. I'm going to take a little jab, and these even at some of my brothers. I hope y'all brothers ain't making your wives say, hey, man, make sure you get up on there and say property of Mikhail, property of I'm trying to make up names that's not real. Ariel. Y'all be up there. Oh, we married now. Make sure you put property of such and such. Mama Quad, they be getting down with that shit, man. You better post me. And I'm going to tell you what sisters do too. This is another demon sisters do. Them sisters get in that YouTube streets. As soon as they get in them YouTube streets, they say, property of Mikael Bun Yahawada. Now, here's why the woman is proud to say property of Mikael Yahawada. No. She letting all you bitches know I'm his man. I'm his woman. Y'all better back y'all asses up. And not realizing, and this gonna be a nice little gut check for your sisters. When you say property of Mikael Yahawada publicly, what other women gonna think is this nigga must got some shit with him if this woman is being this bold to stop me from getting them. That's what you're doing. You inviting more women to want to talk to him when you do that. You're not stopping. And that's what it really becomes more about. Some men just don't want and need that type of attention. Men don't need validation. Women need validation. They need validation. You tell that woman, hey man, I'm private. You know what I mean? So don't nobody got to know. My family knows, my friends know, my school know, people at my job know, your people know, but that ain't enough. They got to be bold on the Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and picture. Fuck like that. That does nothing. You got to think about what you're addicted to at that time. In that moment, you want validation from people you don't even know. Nobody should know if you're happy or if you're sad. Nobody should know that. Because when people know that you're happy or people know that you're sad, for example, that guy Julio, so now Whack and R&B, they're a little different. They run plays, right? So they run this play, they got this little argument. Julio thinks that they are really like on the outs. And that guy that I debated, Julio, actually went in R&B's back chat saying you ain't got to take that or some shit like that. And he's a Christian, by the way. That's all you doing. You know how many times we would see sisters, listen, sisters go crazy. And sisters be thinking like, if I could just help everybody out, right? And I don't know, brothers, some brothers do this sometimes, but mainly sisters. I would say it's 90% women do this, 10% men do this. Yeah, I put Mankind on Etsy. Yeah, Mankind is right on Etsy right now. It's in the Call Gas section, not the Fourth Dimension section. Let me make sure. Yeah, I put it on there. Yeah, let me double check for you. Don't worry, I'll double check for you right now. And then I'll get right back to answering the question why your man should not post you. Your man should, yeah, it's up there. You can get Mankind by going to callgas.com. My moderators are putting the link in the chat. You're going to go to the call. If y'all want the direct link to get to that one, hold on, let me get this one. So this link I'm going to put in the YouTube. If you click this link here, this will take you directly there. And then you'll see Mankind right there. Rumor has it, Julio's still running. Julio running like Forrest was. And you know what's crazy? Somebody made a comment and said when he called me cap because I'm capping, I didn't get mad. So why he got mad over Lil Man? But here's another thing when it comes to relationships, and these are things that y'all really got to start examining, because social media can become a disease to you. Like, I'm on social media all the time. Have y'all seen? Just think about this. Have y'all seen one crash out from me as far as relationships go on social media? Y'all let me know. Y'all ain't seen not one crash out. I ain't crashed out one time on social media at all. And you won't see me crash out about no woman or my relationships or my kids. I can't do that because they don't care. You say, like, when you make them posts about your relationships and you post pictures about your relationship, you don't, I mean, unless you're addicted to likes. Where's that picture of Wesley? Y'all see that movie New Jack City? They had a picture of Nino Brown and G Money, and they, instead of the crack, it was a like button. They said, this shit here, the bitches go crazy over this shit right here. And it's likes. You got to think about that. Because even when you start posting, you like if your page is full of, like, you know, medium shit, happy-go-lucky shit, then all of a sudden you giving advice on relationships and shit like that. Everybody know you're going through some bullshit and you venting there. There she go. Sheila talking that shit again, y'all. Yo, look what Sheila's saying. Look what Sheila's saying. Oh, Danielle. Look, she done did some shit now. Her and her man. Her man wasn't she just happy with her man? She ain't happy no more. Look at how she posting. You got to think about that. And there's a scripture that says, let me see if I get it for you. There's two scriptures. This is 1 Timothy 5:13. It says, and withal they learn to be idle, wandering from house to house, and not only idle, but tattlers also, and busybodies, speaking things which they ought not. And even though it's your relationship, when you posting about your relationship online, you're enhancing and encouraging the busybodies. Because the one thing you can't control is what somebody says about you once you let it out into the internet. Once you put it out to the internet, you can't get mad. Like, people, when I put my YouTube videos up, it's people in there talk all kind of shit about me on there. I don't delete their comment. I leave their comment right there because I know I'm putting that out on the internet. So once you put it out on the internet, you can't dictate what people say about you. You can't control what people say about you. And you be thinking, in your mind, you be thinking, yeah, they going to give me some sympathy. They going to give me some advice. And then they laughing at you, or they talking shit about you, or they say, hey, sis, this shouldn't really be out there in public. Hey, Ak, you might want to get counsel. You shouldn't have this public. Listen, I'm going to tell you, I don't halfway understand half the shit that y'all post publicly. Half the shit y'all post publicly, I don't be understanding. I really don't. I'm not in that space where, you know, brothers be putting up posts that, you know, there's a scripture say, be not righteous over much. And I got to have that in my head because sometimes I see the brothers post some shit and I'll be wanting to say, hey, take this down. What you share, everything that you do on the internet, always remember, everything that you do on the internet is a reflection of you and is going to bring attention to you that you're not going to like. So the one thing that you can protect is your house, is your space. And the space of your relationship should be protected at all costs. So just like you don't let your job in your house, Instagram and Facebook shouldn't be in your house. It should just be you and him in the house. Nobody else should be in that house. And the minute you force him to do so, you got to make sure, you have to know right away that the only reason you're doing that is either to stop him from getting other women, or stop him from getting other women, or stop him from getting other women. Because when the brother don't post you, hey, fellas that don't post they women, fellas that don't post they women on social media, what do your woman say to you as to why you don't post? Do she not say, you ain't posted me because you getting other women, you don't want women to know that you got me as your woman? Y'all let me know. Maybe I'm mistaken. The fellas can tell me. Maybe I'm mistaken. But that's the top three. Top three. All right. This is not gonna be a long live stream. So let me see. Let me see what I got. What else I got in the title? I think that might be it. So I only did this live stream to make sure that I answered this question for the brother, because I was supposed to do it a couple of days ago, but I didn't have time to do it. Once you post your spouse, you are not protecting them. When you post them, you are putting them in the line of fire. Yeah, real talk. Real talk. Look, I'm glad the sisters listen. I love these sisters, man, because when the sisters say you right, that's how you know you right. It's a form of listen. Another thing that it is, one more thing, it's a form of control. General Hyman said something so heavy the other day. He said, "You cannot be equal with your wife. The minute that we're equal, we are in competition with each other. Because there has to be somebody in charge. So I'm in charge." Yeah, Lacum, you ain't got to ask that question, man. Just call in. You know, Lacum, you know, he's psychiatrist, psychologist, all that psyche shit. You know, except fortune teller. I ain't going to put that on the brother. But yeah, you can call in if you want to give a therapist answer to it. Definitely. Shit, we need that. Hey, shalom, Yavashim Shabakta.
Shalom, Marwan. Yahavashim Yahushua Barakatah. Salakia, sir. If I may, if I could give the
yeah, come on, man. Give me your pedigree. Give me your pedigree real fast.
All right. So for those that are hearing in to the YouTube world and everywhere else, my name is Officer Lacum Ya'ala of the ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, and I report to headquarters. I am also a licensed and practicing therapist. I have a master's in psychology with a concentration in abnormal behavior. So to go ahead and to give more insight into this, sir, a good thing that people need to really look up is something that is called arrested development. Right. So now
you said that's a mental term.
Another one, son. Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. As you can break it down. I'm gonna look it up as well. Go ahead.
All right. So now, what occurs on with arrested development, right? It's usually a result of like either trauma, neglect, any type of traumatic event that goes on, whether it's in relationships or outside of relationships with family, and so on and so forth, right? And what it does is that it inhibits a person's emotional and social growth. So what they do is that, you know, and for the perspective of the woman is that she does the outbursts, the crying, the accusatory things, the same things that children do, right? So they'll have the outbursts. You need to go ahead and put me on social media. Let everybody know that we're together and we go together real bad, all right? And if you're not doing that, it's because you got someone else, right? So they do that. They do the type of psychological entrapments and stuff like that, you know, to get what they want, right? And some of the other types of emotional things that women deal with, and men also that deal with in terms of arrested development, right, is not only will they develop those type of childlike behaviors or struggles with their emotional regulation, right, they have issues with their relationships in terms of secure attachments. So this is why they're doing these things, why you have to be boisterous, where you have to let them know, scream from the mountaintops, yes, I'm with this person, I'm with that person, so on and so forth.
Let me ask you a question. Let's say if the person does that and then the spouse then posts them, is that enough? Like, will that be enough for an individual like that? Or will...
It'll often be enough. It'll often be enough for the moment.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Then they want the daily pictures to put me on your reel. Let me, let people know that I'm cooking you breakfast, or let people know that you come home to, to a clean house because
I was
doing it.
Right.
You know, so it becomes something like that. And it's a form of psychological control via manipulation, which all stems from emotional immaturity that goes on.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking. That's why the reason why I asked you that question, because as you breaking down that arrested development, somebody said Shalaka said he needs to have a series to break this down more. You know, as the brother was asking that, I'm probably gonna work your schedule to see if we can have like a psychological moment on Captain Tazaryach TV, where you call in, like you see how you called in now. Hold on one second, Lacombe, hold on. Hey Shalom, I'm doing a live stream. Give me like 20 minutes. All right, no sweat. Shalom, okay. All right. What'd you say? All right. Yo, all right, Lacombe, you there?
I'm here.
So, because I think, like, as we talking about this, I think this delves into a whole different, portion that I think a lot of people need to hear, because the reason why I asked you that question, because you're talking about arrested development, which, like you said, it's a mental position where it can stunt your growth, whether it's physical, mental, psychological, trauma from when you're a child. And when you gave the example of you have to post me, would that be enough? It cannot be enough, because that's not the solution. Like, posting on Facebook is not the solution to the problem. Finding out why this person has this mental defect is the problem. And because once you give into, and you tell me if I'm right about this, in the words of Mawakwa, get me right about this. Once they post, if they're doing something else, they're going to look for something else, because then it becomes, I can control this person. If I can make them post and do what I say here, I can make them do something else. You get me right with that.
John, sir, that's absolutely right. And it all stems back down to psychological manipulation, where you're often guilt tripping your partner, or kind of like cornering them into a position that if you don't do this with me, is because you're secretly doing it with somebody else.
Right.
So that all goes on with that.
Is that all manipulation?
It's a symptom. Of it.
Okay. Because the reason why I say the manipulation part is because if they're saying you're not doing this for me because you're doing it for somebody else, that sounds almost like manipulation. That's why I wanted to ask you that.
John, yeah, it's a symptom. The psychological manipulation is a symptom of arrested development. So the things that you exhibit as you're saying things or making any type of pointed or accusatory statements towards your partner, it's all symptomatic to the apex of it, which is the arrested development. So these things can also tie into work, where they do the same thing with their supervisors, where if they didn't get like a lunch break at the time that they want, they'll go ahead and do the same thing and be like, well, I'll just pass out in front of you, and then, I'll just pass out in front of you.
I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna have a temper tantrum. I'm gonna show out. I'm gonna do all these things. Yep.
So that's just another example of like something like that goes on outside of relationships, but we see it all too often, but people, they disguise it with the, that's how I've always been kind of thing, which is important on why men need to go ahead and be the leaders, because a lot of these women never had the father figure to go ahead and tell them no. And that's the precipice. That is the cause for a lot of women in arrested development. They have never heard the answer no.
Right.
Because they didn't have a daddy around to go ahead and set the structure for them to understand that it's not going to happen this way. It's going to go this way.
I agree. I agree. And I think it's so heavy you calling in. So we definitely going to make this a portion of Captain Tazaryach TV. This is Officer Lakam Ya'ala, who I've had the pleasure of having him being an officer in headquarters, Harlem, New York. And he brings such a gift to the school that I think you should call in. Like, and you ain't gotta ask. If it could be any subject, because you know you have this background, and a lot of people don't know that we got brothers and sisters that have this type of background. So you don't have to ask to call. When we having these conversations, just call, and then you can come in and then you're gonna say, okay, this is the Lakam Ya'ala portion. He about to break all this psychological shit down for us and let us know what's up, and then I think that'd be amazing for us.
It absolutely it would be an amazing thing, sir. And you know, just for the rest of chat and everybody else that's in YouTube, I'm often in the back chats with Captain Tazaryach, texting and letting them know these things that go on with a lot of these people that are ill,
right? Definitely,
or
definitely
going through symptoms.
And I think it's good if you come in and talk, because he'll be texting me, but sometimes it's better if they hear a secondary voice break it down, because even though I can say it, you might say it another way, that people can hear, and then they get both sides of it.
John, sir, absolutely. So, if there's anyone out there that is suffering through something like that right now, whether it be themselves or their partner, or family member, you feel free to go ahead and call into Captain Tazaryach TV, call the number that's on the screen, and then we'll go ahead and be of service to you.
That's right. Most High in Christ.
We'll go ahead, as General Muhammad would say, we will free your mind.
We will free your mind. That need to be a t-shirt to the t-shirt department. Let me free your mind. You know what I mean? And have a picture of Black Jesus under it. Let me free your mind. Picture of Black Jesus under the shirt. That's the shirt. All right. But I appreciate the call out. Yeah, you was gonna say something else?
Yeah, because once we find out the issue with our people, with the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, once we find what the problem is, it's only then that we can go ahead and find a solution. But you can never go ahead and get the sound, the sound council to go ahead and do it unless you call in.
That's it.
And then let those that are qualified to go, to do this, help you out in finding out the next thing, because it's very easy to go ahead and point out a problem. Anybody can point out a problem. It's another thing when it comes to a solution. Now, nobody wants to say nothing.
Right. Yeah, because it ain't magic. Like, we can't get into your head unless you first open your mouth. And then as you start talking, we can start asking you questions, and then we can get to the root of the problem, and then just handle it that way.
Don, sir, but that's all I had to say. I appreciate
it.
No sweat, sir.
All right, shalom. So there you have it. Lakam Ya'ala is a part of Captain Tazaryach TV. We're gonna call that the psychoanalyst portion, or I'm gonna come up with some name. When Mike see this, he gonna try to bully me into a name. But that's all I got today. So I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Don't forget, we got a 50% off sale. It's for 3 days. I'll probably keep it till Tuesday. If y'all nice enough to me, I may keep it till Friday. I may. Because I'm the boss. When it comes to me in this business, Call Gas Creations, there is nobody after me. So maybe I'll keep it till Friday, but for now it's gonna be up until Tuesday. The only way, you know what I need while I got y'all? What I need is for everybody that has used and purchased the hair crack. If you have before and after pictures, I need your before and after pictures. I'm gonna give y'all an example why. There's a brother sent me, and I think I posted this on my Instagram. This brother sent me this picture, right? And I asked him if I could use it. This brother sent me this picture of his wife's hair. That's the before. You see the before right there? That's the after. That's how bad that hair crack is. You see that? That's the before. That's the after. And I'm going to read what he said. He says, Shalom, Adawan, Lord of Christ. I brought your hair crack for my rib about a month ago. Really didn't expect it to work like it did, but it worked to the point I started using it. Shalom, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Barakatah. So do y'all know that's 30 days of use? 30 days of use, and it's growing back like that. I'm the cure for your baby. What do y'all call them things? The baby hairs? What do y'all? Cause you know y'all be getting that shit painted on. What's this shit called? That's the baby hairs? Is that the baby hairs? I'm the cure. Shout out to Jerome, ordered that beard and mankind. Not Design said shit better than Rogaine. You damn right. And it don't cost you an arm and a leg. All it requires, if you want to know how I use it, baby bands. Yeah, the baby edges. Listen, I'm the cure for the edges. So maybe I'll keep it. So I tell you what, if I could get, I'll tell you how I'll keep this sale till Friday. If I can get 10, now hopefully I get more than 10. But for anybody that has purchased the hair crack, if I can get 10 pictures of your before, after, or your growth, I'll keep the sale until Friday. If not, it's going to end on Tuesday. So it requires participation. So anybody listening to this, if you've purchased the hair crack and you've seen your hair growth, I just need a picture showing that to me. You can text my number, 862-224-9027, or you can message me on Instagram, message me on Facebook. All right? And with that, Shalom Israel.